Hello and welcome everyone. This is Nitesh Mishra from Federation of Indian Export Organizations, popularly known as FIO, India's apex trade promotion organization. And you are listening to the Voice of Exports, India's first exclusive podcast for EXIM community. On this podcast, we bring top performers from the sector who not only inspire but also reinvigorate among you to become one of them. Welcome to another episode of Voice of Exports, India's first audio podcast started by Federation of Indian Export Organizations on various issues and aspects related to exports and international trade. Today in our program, we have Mr. Sundar Kumar from Akash Pharma Exports, which is into generic medicines, oncology drugs, active pharmaceutical ingredients, and surgical products. Welcome, Mr. Kumar, for this program.
Thank you. I am Sundar Kumar from Akash Pharma Exports. Akash Pharma Exports is a Palakkad, Kerala-based pharmaceutical trading and export company specializing in the supply of high-quality medicines to international markets. The company focuses on sourcing reliable pharmaceutical products from reputed manufacturers and delivering them effectively to global clients. The company was established with a vision to bridge the gap between Indian pharmaceutical manufacturers and international demand, especially in regulated and semi-regulated markets.
Now that you have introduced the company and your products and different kinds of services which you provide in the international trade.
Yes.
Tell me, sir, about your company as a whole as with regard to the challenges and how it is started.
Exporting pharmaceutical involves multiple operational and global challenges. Some of the key challenges we have faced include tariff hikes and global trade tensions. Recent geopolitical issues and tariff wars have increased the import and export duties, affecting pricing competitiveness, raw material scarcity. Due to global disruptions and war-related uncertainties, sourcing APIs and packing materials has become difficult and expensive. Non-availability of finished products. Manufacturers are facing production delays leading to supply shortages and longer lead times. Freight and logistic disruptions. Increased shipping costs and delays in transit have impacted delivery schedules. Regulatory compliances difficulties. Each country has different import regulations, documentation requirements, and quality standards.
Okay. So when you talk about the key challenges, you have just now enumerated a lot of things as with regard to the key challenges when you talk about supply chain disruption, when you talk about tariff disruptions. So how do you see this scenario as with regard to your the sector in which you work for, and do you see the tariff scenario and the war-like situation which is there prevailing in the international market impacting the overall international trade business?
At present, the biggest challenges is the tariff increase due to war-related uncertainty, along with the scarcity of materials and finished products, which is directly impacting pricing and supply continuity. Okay. So when you talk about pricing, how do you see the pricing go up in terms of or go down in terms of the competitiveness which is coming from companies which are into your sector from different other countries? Yeah, so example, China is giving the much lower than ours from India. That's the main challenge we are facing now.
Okay. When you talk about China, how different the quality of product and how their pricing are more competitive than us?
Actually, minimum the 20% lesser than ours or indigenous. Moreover, the quality, according to us, the quality is not so different. They have the first quality, second quality, and third quality. So if we want first quality, then sure we will get the first quality products from China or any other countries.
Okay. When you talk about your services, you have been into this business for a long time now. How were you introduced to FIO services and what made you seek us out?
Okay, FIO plays a vital role in supporting exporters by providing policy updates, export guidance, trade promotion activities, market intelligence.
What advice would you like to give to companies similar to you or in general looking to export from India?
The advice to companies planning to enter the export markets: understand tariff thoroughly, always study country-specific duties, trade agreements, and hidden costs before pricing. Choose reliable suppliers. Strong supply chain partnership are critical, especially during global disruptions.
When you talk about FTAs, which has happened during recent times, or the FTAs which India has signed or concluded during recent times, how do you see these FTAs going to work for India's foreign trade sector, especially exports, when you talk about to further enhance it or to further give it a boost?
100% it will get boost to all our indigenous companies, no doubts.
Sir, the tariffs which we are seeing, which has come across from US in recent times, and there are a lot of challenges happening with regard to that, and the recent logistical and transportational challenges, which is in fact gripping the whole international trade sector. Do you see it impacting in a big way in a longer run or medium term also?
No, I think it may not in long way.
So how do you see it, sir? Can you elaborate on it in detail?
Yeah, 100%. Actually, the tariff hike and the disruptions and the logistic problems, which in now, it may be solved within a short period, we think.
Sir, when you talk about key learnings from your export journey, you people have been into this business for a long time. What are your key learnings which you can provide as a lesson to the new and budding exporters who want to come into your sector of exports?
Export business requires patience and adaptability. Strong relationship with the suppliers and the clients are essential.
Okay.
Market conditions can change rapidly due to global events.
Okay.
Proper documentation and compliance reduce risk. Export business is highly rewarding when managed strategically.
Okay.
These are things.
When you talk about ease of doing business, how do you see the ease of doing business coming from the government side, and what more is required in terms of that?
The government should give more importance for exports.
Okay.
Getting more jobs to the youth in India.
Okay.
So give them the best help to exporters by reducing tariff or rate, what are the complications, routes. Suppose we are facing some problems for exporting medicines from India. So we should change the routes according to the time. That's the main advice we can give.
Your company belongs to a place called Palakkad, which is in Kerala.
Yeah.
So what kind of support exactly do you need from the state government side also?
Yeah, actually in Kerala, the logistic is very, very less for exporting medicines to various countries.
Okay.
We should give the attention for that side. It is another. Other than that, moreover, the qualified persons are also very less for pharma industry in Kerala.
Sir, one very last question. The three important lessons which you like to give to new and budding exporters or new businesses which wants to come into the field of exports?
Okay, the tariff one, the most important increase in tariff between countries are affecting pricing and competitiveness. All are, should know about these type of problems which nowadays.
Okay.
Exporters must constantly revise pricing strategies. That's also a problem.
Okay.
Then free trade agreements and bilateral trade agreements help reduce duties.
Okay.
They create new opportunities for Indian exporters in emerging markets.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kumar, for being so candid and insightful in your approach in answering all the questions which I have asked you. And thank you for joining us in this program.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Voice of Exports podcast by FIO aims to provide important information and views on foreign trade, especially on exports, which will help both Indian exporters and importers. Any statements made by an exporter, importer, or an importing company in this podcast as guests reflect the views and opinions of that individual or the company. This podcast does not constitute an endorsement by the FIO of the individual or the company, his or her or its employer or affiliated entity, the specific information or views provided, resources mentioned, or products or services endorsed or offered by that individual or the company, his or her or its employer or affiliated entity. FIO assumes no responsibility for the accuracy, completeness, or timelines of the information provided by the guest or the company in this podcast, or for the decisions made and reliance on any information provided by the guest or the company in this podcast. We thank you for listening to this episode of Voice of Exports podcast service brought to you by the FIO. For more information on how you can start exporting, please visit our website www.fio.org.